Good afternoon, and with us this afternoon in our Parks and Recreation update is Charlie Vance. Charlie, good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. This afternoon we're going to talk a little bit about the adult soccer program here in Deltona. You've been running the league for quite some time now, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to sit and talk with us this afternoon. And let's talk a little bit about soccer.
Thank
I
you.
know you've been involved with the soccer program for some time, so take us back in time and give us a little history of how soccer got started here in Deltona. Not necessarily adult soccer, but tell us how you've worked your way up the ranks from the kids and all that to the program that you're actually running today.
All right. Well, a little about myself. I retired from the Army in '85 and moved here to Deltona, became a mailman, and then I retired as a mailman. But since '85, I started coaching. I have two young boys. And I started coaching them in soccer, First County, and then we went to DYSC, and I volunteered for about 15 years, coaching all the young kids around here. And then later, I worked on the Parks and Recreation Board, Advisory Board, that to help the city. We became a new city and started working with the Parks and Rec director, and we needed more soccer fields at the time because there wasn't a full-size soccer field in this town other than at one high school. So we started working on Dewey Buster's complex, and then we were inundated on the advisory board by calls to get adult soccer going because the youth soccer was going so well. We started a in-house program with the youth soccer, and I run that in-house league, sort of the recreation league, that the city had contracted with the DYSC to do because it was more economically feasible for the city to outsource it than run it themselves. So after about 2000, we were building Dewey Buster. The adults started saying, we need adult soccer. So at the advice of the Parks and Rec director at that time, we created an adult soccer league, and I've been running it ever since. We've grown probably, well, the first year we had about 100 participants, and we played on half a field at DuPont Lakes Park. Now, many people can remember, today sits the CVS pharmacy on Elkham and Howland Boulevard. But that was a good give up for the soccer complex, and it has benefited the city ever since because it is one of the top fields in the Central Florida, probably the state. So the adult soccer started there, then we eventually moved to Dewey Buster Park, and we've grown about 80 to 100 participants each year over the past 10 years since 2003 when we started.
Great.
So, and that's basically just with word of mouth in the city, and the city doing the TV ads. We've had, of course, people interested call from seeing our logo just posted on the city television site also. So we're doing pretty good.
Good, good. I really want to thank you, Charlie, for taking the time to get a program started here. The other day we talked with the Deltona Youth Soccer Club, and they were very complimentary of you and how you got the program started, and from the city standpoint of view. I like to take this opportunity to thank you too, because soccer is probably one of the biggest sports we have in the city here, and it's all because of your efforts. For you, when you got here early on, before the city became a city, you took the time to establish something that you felt was going to be a vital part of the community, and you did a good job with that.
Thank you very much.
Really,
and it wasn't just me. Most of all my staff and board members that work with me are all former DYSC board members or presidents. One of my right-hand man is Tony O'Deo, which actually started DYSC 30 years ago.
And I know Tony, and he's a great guy. And,
yes, and then David Berkalow, he's a former president, works with me, and our wives, of course. So we have over a few hundred years of soccer experience. And besides me coaching two teams for my sons for 15 years and volunteering with the DYSC, I also was a referee assigner, and assessor. So I know half the referees in in the state. So we have the United States Soccer Federation certified referees doing our six-a-side soccer games also.
And that's a big thing too. Having running a program and starting from the ground up and working to be able to get established to where you have a good reputation. But not only are you doing something for the community, but you're doing it right. You're using certified referees that are involved in your program. People are actually paying for that, but it's come a long way, and it's all because of the benefits. And you could see, you say you had a vision back in that time frame. And let's talk a little bit about your vision for the future. I know you've taken us back in time now on history, and I know we're getting ready to start your program in the first week of June. And the economy has hit you a little hard here too, but not that hard. Your program still continues to roll on. You still continue to provide that service for the people in the community. Tell us about what your vision is for the future and how things look like this year.
Well, they're looking pretty good. I'm getting multiple calls here the month before we start our season. Of course, we run our season twice a year since 2003, so we're going into our 21st season this summer, starting June 3rd. Usually the month before, people start signing up and everything. So we play January and February. So even though it's hectic over the Christmas season, people do sign up for soccer to be able to play in January and February, and then in June and July. Yeah, and our big vision was when we built Dewey Boster, and John Mazarzik was instrumental in getting that done also. We had a vision that maybe someday Major League Soccer would come here and play. And because of the Parks and Rec department, and your people, them fields at Dewey Boster have been maintained as good as Disney World. And now we have the Philadelphia Union coming here for the last 3 or 4 years and in the future. And I know that other MLS teams are now trying to get in here to the same location. A lot of people don't know Major League Soccer is trying to push most of their teams during their spring training to come to Florida for the East Coast teams and go to Southern California for the West Coast teams. So soccer is actually being pushed into Florida, and it's going to grow substantially over the next couple of years. We hope that our recreation program is still maintained at a recreation level, because we only charge $60 a season per player, and we play an 8-game season, and we supply all the teams with player uniform shirts, so all the teams are different colors, and we don't have to tell everybody show up in a white shirt or show up in a dark shirt. So we're growing. The youth soccer clubs are growing. All the soccer programs around the state are growing, and a lot in Central Florida. And I hope we can get more fields in Deltona.
Well, that was my next question. We're getting inundated because of our popularity and how nice our fields are kept and maintained. We're getting inundated now with requests for usage for just about anything, from high school graduation to practice games to football spring training. And soccer has established itself so well in the community now that when soccer season comes around, which is this springtime frame, people are really looking forward to Deltona Youth Soccer but most of all adult soccer. And the programs continues to grow, and that's a very, very good positive thing. And that's basically all because of what you do and what you do behind the scenes. Even though your season's in January and February and in June and July, you're still working behind the scenes. Do you get a lot of calls from people in the community about, hey, what they can do at Dewey Boster, and hey, what do you think about this, Charlie, and what do you think about that? Do people reach out to you to do that?
Very much so, very much so. I get calls sometimes weekly, monthly, during the off season to do this program or start this program, or can you help us with this? And mostly it's information. Some organizations want to come in and do profit enterprises, and I basically tell them that's not what Dewey Boster was built for. It was built for the citizens and the soccer players. That's why we play our seasons in January, February, and June and July, because it's the off season for the youth. So we're not over impacting the soccer complex and the wear on the fields, since it is natural grass turf. And the Parks and Recreation monitors the usage very well, I might add, to make sure our fields are maintained at such a high level. And we appreciate that very much, and all my players appreciate that very much. We're looking at probably 700 to 800 participants this year, and I still have participants all over the country because people grow up. The kids I coached in youth soccer 20, 30 years ago are coming up now. They've been playing in the adult program. Probably 50% of our people are actually people I coached and have been playing with the Adult Soccer League since our inception for the last 10 years. And they even bring their kids out. Now they're married. A few of them, I'll say, they're getting old. They're moving into our over 30 division on Wednesday nights because we play 18 and up on men's and women's on Monday nights, 7, 8, and 9. And Tuesday nights we play our co-ed. The women really like the co-ed. And that's our biggest draw.
How's that program coming along, your co-ed? Is that working pretty well?
It's very well. It's the biggest draw, the most teams of any night that we play. And then we have our over 30 and over 40 men's on Wednesday nights. But of course, we have certain females participate in that also because they love soccer so much. And it's like a soccer family. Like I said, a lot of these kids I've coached when they were young. Now they're married, and they're bringing their little ones out, and their little ones are starting in youth soccer. And we help out everybody we can.
It's really, really good. Really good that people are kind of following along with what they started when they were young, and now they've actually come to the adult soccer program, and that's starting to flourish as well. Let's talk a little bit about the future. Everybody's wanting to use our fields. In your opinion, if we were to build some more fields, how many fields do you actually think we would need? Another 6 or a 9 complex, 6-field complex?
Well,
what do you think?
With everything from Major League Soccer coming down, you've got U.S. pro teams. There are cities around the area that are doing professional development league programs, and these are all basically the minor league of soccer. These teams are scouted for MLS players. Just recently, Palm Coast started a Super 20 team that participates. So they'll be playing against the Orlando City, a few teams in Tampa and Bradenton. And these are college level teams that are actually amateur soccer. So maybe one day we'll bring that to Deltona and really put Deltona on the national map for soccer. And we could probably use an entire new park like Dewey Boster, another 9 to 12 fields, because the potential for development in the area, that many teams are going to be coming here to play Major League Soccer, spring training, the PDL teams from around the country, the Super 20 League that the United Soccer League runs. They play their championships currently in Bradenton because they have a 30-field complex down there. So they'll play the national championships down there for them. There's not a women's league down here for the Super 20 women, which would be college and high school players. It enables high school players to start playing at a major soccer league level, basically, and with college players, and it doesn't violate the NCAA rules because they're playing in off-season, May, June, and July. And hopefully we can bring a team like that here. You never know, one day Deltona may have a U.S. pro team in place of Orlando when Orlando hopefully goes MLS. And when you get little cities like Palm Coast, Ocala, PDL team, a city as big as Deltona, we should have a team at every level, and I hope we do someday. And providing another complex, a city stadium would enhance it immensely. I mean,
that's
you're
something
looking at World Cup coming again to America soon, and we could be one of the venues.
That's something that there's been a lot of conversations here in the city of Deltona about the possibility of a need a need for a stadium, and I actually think we do need one. We need a stadium where we could bring economic development to the city, but also let the people in the community have an opportunity to all come together in one place in a stadium type fashion. And I know our mayor has been working, John Masarczyk has been working sort of, under the, with the help of the city commission to try to give us more opportunity for places to play and provide some additional venues. And we're currently working on that right now. A stadium would definitely enhance the community and would be great for the city of Deltona. No question about it.
Yes, it would. This past January, I'm sort of aware of other sports too. People don't know, besides the National Football League, there's also a National American Football League. They played their national championships down here this past January in Daytona Beach, using Daytona Beach's stadium, but there wasn't enough space for all the games, so they actually had to rent Deltona High School and played a lot of their games out at Deltona High School because there's not enough stadiums around to accommodate. That was football. Mm-hmm. So if you get a major tournaments down here, which there's youth tournaments all over the state, probably every month you could go to a youth tournament in the state of Florida. And adult is becoming that way. You have the Central Florida League, which is 11-a-side. They're the predominant league in Central Florida. We're the predominant league for 6-a-side in Central Florida. There is other leagues out there, smaller leagues, 6-a-side, 7-a-side, 8-a-side. But we're leading the way in Central Florida. And Deltona is becoming a big, major player in soccer. It's the facilities we need, and we could bring a whole lot more people here.
That's really encouraging for the future, and hopefully we can get that point across. I think we will. We have a very dedicated, recreationally minded commission this go around. Not that we've never had one. We've always had good commission support because we basically work so you guys can play, and that's kind of a cool thing. I say that with a sense that we do put a lot of time and a lot of effort into making those sports fields out at Dewey look good, and but we do it at a little higher standard, and people in the community are very appreciative of that.